How you been?
I've been good. Ronnie and I screwed up, and made that reboot album, and so we've been working a little
Screwed
bit.
up? I like it.
Oh, thanks. I'm just teasing you.
Oh.
Kind of.
I know I've put out things before. I'm like,
No, it's
no, I love it.
like we, screwed up and made our first record and rode a bus for 20 years trying to figure out how to get off it, No, it's all good. That was a fun little project, and we just did. We did 4 shows in the last 5 days.
That's fun.
Yeah, ended up in Canada, and so buzzed back last night.
Man, I'm telling you, 2019 for us, like I fired a manager and hired a new one. It's been a big transition, and I've been busy, but not show busy. That drives me nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I started when I was 16, so I've been doing it over half my life. You've been doing it longer than I have, but once you start, it's kind of part of who you are. And taking that out of the equation, man, just sends me into a tailspin. Like,
Yeah.
just some walking holes in the floor.
I know.
And having kids and being married, it's like I want to be present, but like she's ready for me to go by the time I get out,
It's so funny. I say that all the time. But honestly, it's what you're saying is a real healthy balance for an artist. And there's nothing, I think. So your youngest, your little one is
coming up on 2.
Is 2, yeah. And I know there's that thing inside you is wanting to be a good dad, and I know you are and all that. So it's like, I shouldn't be wanting to go all the time, but you gotta be healthy up here.
Yes.
You gotta be healthy in here. And when you've got that, you come home to those kids and you can give them everything, instead of, otherwise you're going to be distracted.
Right.
You are, because you're going to be thinking about, man, I should be doing. And the way to give them your whole heart and love, I really think is you got to get out there and get that stuff off your chest. And a good woman's going to understand that too.
Yes, sir.
And Barbara's the same way.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. But she was into horses and whatever when we were touring. But man, you got a bus. Those kids are going to love those fairs and that stuff. And
he comes out. We got a bunk set up for him. She's even got a bunk ready for her, and she's still a month out. But my mother-in-law goes with us, and when they're out on the road and helps, if it's not too far a run, But I love having them out. But it does help every now and then, just to, because, well, I mean, you get it. A lot. I still live at home where I grew up, and a lot of my buddies, it's hard for them to understand. It's like, yeah, man, I get to spend whole days with my son, whole days with my wife. But, having some time apart helps. You know what I mean? And you get on a 2-week run just right there at the house. Like, I'm calling my manager, like, hey, there's got to be something I can do up there. Like, my wife's going to kill me. But, it's just a different life where most folks, spend every day, spend hours apart, and then come together at the end of the day, where as opposed to us, we're either all there or all gone.
Doesn't writing do it for you too?
Yes, sir. And I'm able to write late now. She'll go to bed about 9. I'll get him down around 8:30 or 9, and I put him down so she can go ahead and get some rest, and then I'll take the monitor up with me. And I stay up and write and work and do whatever I got to do till around 3 or 4, and I'll lay down. Try to get up at 10. That don't work often, but then I'm with him till he goes to bed.
So you're a late night writer?
Yes, sir.
I just can't do it, man.
Really?
I can answer emails and whatever like that, till it's late, and I can putter around in the studio, but my creative brain's all in the morning.
Really?
I'll wake up that first couple of cups of coffee when it's quiet and everything. That's, if I start banging on a guitar, I'm liable to think of something. I just would, man, my brain gets tired in the evenings. But
done. I'm exact opposite. I'm terrible in the morning. I don't drink coffee because I'm way too high strung naturally. but yeah, man, I just, it's the only time I have also, where nobody's blowing my phone up. He's asleep. You know, if I'm not down there rocking him, you know, she doesn't need anything. She's asleep. So it's one time I can turn everything off and concentrate and really get stuff done. Plus, I love like texting people back. You know, there's folks that you don't mind texting you, and then there's folks you wish didn't. And those folks that text you early in the morning that you wish didn't text you at all, I usually wait till about 2:30 or 3 in the morning and just answer all their texts from like the past 3 days at 3:30 in the morning. They won't text you the next day. If they do, they'll wait till afternoon at least.
There's something about a timestamp on an email too. You know, there's certain people. If it's midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I have to take into consideration what it is they're asking or what they're saying. You know, I usually just push delete. You know what I'm saying?
Those times when we'll be on like. The label will send out email. Scott Borchetta and George Briner from radio team and everybody on there, and I literally don't see it till 1 or 2 in the morning, and I always respond, so I won't forget in the morning. It's like, well, everybody knows that I was up till 3 or 4 last night.
You got some cool stuff on your record. I read somewhere you said, of course, it's not like we don't all say this. This is more different than anything I've ever done. This is whatever. What do you, when you say that, what do you think's so different about this album to you?
Well, you said it the best. We all feel like, each record, we did something different here. With this one, I literally, I think there's legitimacy in saying that because the format's changed so much. There are no rules, really, and people consume music so much differently now. We don't have to target radio with everything. You know what I mean? It doesn't. If a song goes to 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes or 5 minutes, if it gets Freebird long, then hey man, it's all good. There are no rules against it. So with this record, I went in and I said, you know what? I just want songs to be what they feel like they want to be. You know what I mean? No time restraints on them. Of course, there's a couple that we think might lean towards radio. Then if we do go over, we always make sure we have a version that could fit that format. But, just really bounced around to, kind of some different genre influences. I've always considered myself more of a writer than an artist anyway. And I feel like that gives me a little more freedom than maybe some guys and girls have. With me, it's not really a brand or an image. It's more what you see is what you get. And I write songs, and hey, if you like them, that's great. If you don't, I get it. I'm not mad about it.
You got a thing, man. You got your own deal. I was just telling them, and I'm a fan. I mean,
I appreciate that.
I like your singing, and I like your groove. And I really feel like I was just talking to them about Jason, who's a good buddy too. But I feel like you two both kind of broke out of the same thing. You obviously wrote one of his good ones early on, and I think you both, you're both kind of, you're not the same artist by any means, but you both kind of come from the same attitude, and it's sort of what you see is what you get,
For sure.
I like it, and you've continued to write what you are, what you like doing, what I know your fans want to hear out of you, but you got some cool diversions here. I really like the song. I was just talking to them about it, producer in there. This morning I was listening to the song again about "You're Not Like Us." I think that's what it is, and we hear so much about. God, if we hear another tailgate, another pickup, another bonfire, whatever. But, that was the same thing for me growing up. We all met at Wallace Lake Dam. There was a fire going when I got there almost always,
Oh, yeah.
And there was one going when I left at whatever time in the morning it was when I bailed.
Oh,
but, I think, and I don't know really if it's just a general dig, the way I interpreted it without, going and picking at every word in there is there's just a lifestyle of folks out there. And, not to get too political, but our country is so divided now because we can't seem to relate very well to each other. And I know there's people that just, country's easy to make fun of for slickers anyway, but
Yeah.
But there's a flag that we fly, those of us that came up in that kind of hayfield environment. I don't even know what to call it. That those folks are just never going to get it. I don't think.
I have a song that was out. It was either the last record or the record before that. It's called "The Same Old Song," and it basically talks about what you're saying. But it same thing goes for like the dirt road thing. Like, a lot of folks, they called it like a dirt road free for all. I think somebody called it at one point, and it was like, they kind of credited Colt and I with writing that. But that went back for me. My inspiration, one of my inspirations for Dirt Road Anthem was Red Dirt Road. I love that song when y'all put it out, but man, Dirt Road, I mean, that's country as it gets. Bonfires, I mean, we're singing about our life, and I guess if we got all in our emotions, so to speak, like everybody else, I mean, there's a lot of genres that they can write a lot about a lot of different things that I can't relate to. Like, when I hear a song that's nothing about money and cars and this, that, and the other, I don't really, it's not really my deal, or, there's some other genres that they write about their feelings a lot. I feel like country music, we paint the picture around what invokes those emotions and those feelings. They can zero in and find a million ways to say, they got a broken heart. We tell you the story that broke it. I've always looked at it that way. Like I feel like we do tell the stories behind everything.
There seems to be a reconnection to your faith here, and I know you've been sober a while or whatever. Don't need to get into all that, but there seems to be somewhat of a comfort zone I'm hearing in some of your lyrics here, like with reconnecting with the faith part of yourself.
Yes, sir.
And it's cool. This, like the story, I have a similar story, a song I wrote about a little First Methodist church here. Just one day drove by it, and just it looked just like my grandparents' church, and I just. That next Sunday, I went back and I just went in there. There's like 12 or 13 old folks in there, and just singing out of a Cokesbury hymnal, and it just did my heart so good to sit back there and just sing and, have that moment. And you've got a song, I guess Fire and Brimstone's kind of what that's all about, huh?
Yes, sir. It's a song I wrote by myself. I'd been in Nashville writing for a week and been in a room with a lot of guys. How best songwriters in the world walking around, just randomly on the street. But for some reason, you just get kind of a melody in your head. I picked the guitar up and was just strumming around, and to be honest with you, I was a little bit burnt. It was tired of writing.
Yeah, it is. It's exhausting.
Yeah, and then it just, man,
sucks you clean sometimes.
And I was so burnt and just so ready to get home. And for some reason, I picked the guitar up and strummed a couple notes, and man, that melody kind of just snuck in and took off and ran with it. And having Jamie Johnson and Allison Krauss on that song, I mean, Jamie's one of my favorite male vocals of all time, and I think if God put an angel's voice on earth, I think he probably gave it to Allison Krauss.
Oh yeah,
she's just amazing. So to have those two on that song especially, because if you listen to it close, Jamie's kind of the reverend. He's that old, small town Southern Baptist reverend, and she's kind of the choir or the front row, and I'm the ratty dude in the back row smoking a cigarette on the steps before I come in. And, that song is just about, judgment in and outside of, small picture, like, small town Baptist church. But, it's crazy how that's just a magnified version of judgment in every facet of our lives. We live in a time when we got generations of kids walking around living their lives in selfie mode. You know what I mean? It's like, who needs God when you've got Google? And it's, just, I feel like our society is just extremely judgmental. And that song, I've always been what you see is what you get, guy. And I've been unapologetic about being imperfect. And, there's folks that have called me a hypocrite and a Sunday Christian and all that for including my faith on these records. But that song is kind of my way of saying why. That song's about being comfortable in my own skin. And knowing that, when I do go to church on Sunday morning, if I get a chance to go with my wife, I run into folks and they, it's a moment of not being judgmental. It's just, hey man, I'm just a guy at church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that song is just about being comfortable in your own skin in spite of judgment and in spite of glances and glares and, just being able to be who you are and how that has a tendency to knock a lot of that stuff out. You know what I mean? When you're just unapologetically you, people know, they know what they get. You know what you get. What you see is what you get. And it was just a special song to me. And it kind of, that's, the album tells the story of course, the love story between me and my wife, kind of the journey of being a little hell-raising kid up to being, a dad now. And a little story of my faith, because there's Lost Souls Prayer on there that, just the language that song uses and the way it's a prayer, but it's not the way you're supposed to pray, right? That you would think, and not the things you would say in a prayer, but it was me going back to that point in my life and really trying to get back in those shoes for a minute, just to give people a little insight on that growth too. Because I feel like, that was a time when, I don't know if it was quite a fall from grace, but it definitely wasn't close to God. I do feel like my wife is a big thing in my life that draws me closer to my faith. And I do think having that little man draws me closer to it. And I got a feeling having a little girl, me and God's going to get real close, especially, she gets,
no doubt. Being a parent's tough because you got to give, it's that balance, to be a good parent. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest in the world, but both my kids turned out pretty good. And they're both creative. My daughter's an artist in New York. My son's a screenwriter in L.A. And they're both, they both figured out how to make a living at it. So that's good. But, kids, I think, without any direction, if you go, do your own thing and whatever, but with total freedom, I think kids get confused and they, giving them some structure, giving them some, not just encouragement, but also some direction without telling them what to do.
Right.
It's that fine balance. I think that's our challenge as parents is letting them know that there are boundaries with what you need to be doing. I mean, you have to respect my opinion because I'm trying to, then, it's also, you got to show them by example. But if I think too many kids, it's just, I don't care what you do. That's the thing. That's where kids go wrong, I think.
Yeah.
Because then it's like,
everything's a gray area.
well, and they don't care. So, I don't care. And, that's, you got to let them know you do care.
You got to care.
Yeah. It's kind of where the rubber meets the road.
I'll tell you, every time I hang out with you, man, I feel like I learned something.
Well, I learned something hanging out with you. We
I hope it's halfway decent.
We have some good therapy together. Really.
We do.
I appreciate you coming by, man.
Always.
And good luck with the album. It's good music, man.
Thank you, my friend.
You're still doing it.